All right, so to start your first project into our platform is quite easy. You just need to go here and click into Get Started, and you're going to be prompted with two options. In this case, Create with AI. If you don't really know where to start, which type of task you should start with, which type of risks you might find along the way, or which team you might need to start your project, this is for you. But in this case, the second option, if you already know what to do or from where to start, you already have pretty much everything figured out at the beginning, you can just click in here. Take in mind that here we're going to ask only for the name of your project, but inside already, you're going to have a lot of AI agents that are going to help you anyway along the way. If you already give us or assign all the tasks for your project, we can check what is the status, maybe if there is something that we see at risk or recommend you something. So all of our AI agents are going to be in charge of those things. All right, so to show basically how our AI agents work and how they generate everything based on the context of your project, I would like to, of course, give the example of ProjectFlow AI. So in here, when you're starting with AI, you have three options. If you have a website, you can just give us your website. We're going to analyze your website and the internet to find probably competitors, what competitors are doing, what your website is about, what your company is about. This is one option. The other option is to give us a description of your idea. If you don't have a website, you can just describe what your idea is about. We're going to use it as well. Or if you have probably a very, very detailed idea, a project, or a plan, you can just give us the files from it. Maybe you have a PDF of it or a Word document. It doesn't really matter. You can just give us that context. So for this case, I'm going to show the example with ProjectFlow AI. So I will just assign the website in here and click next. And our AI agents are going to analyze the internet to see what our project is about. Next, we're going to be asked what's the goal. So in this case, let's say that we want to acquire clients. So I'm going to click acquire clients. Of course, it's going to suggest us a name. So acquire ProjectFlow clients. We can go with this one. We can just like, let's say, acquire clients. And that's it. So next. This part is probably one of my favorite parts where we're going to ask you, in this case, more context about your project. All right. So if we would just receive the context you gave us, it will not be really that good because we don't really know where we're going at or very specific things that we might be missing of the context before creating tasks, risk, and resources. All right. So in this case, based on the context that we gave, our website, our AI agents, before reproducing all these things, are asking us for a couple of questions. In this case, three. So if you have the answer to this question, you can just answer it right here. But if you don't, you can as well receive help from AI, and you're going to see like the question real quick. So the answer to the question real quick. So you can either dismiss this, or if you like, you can use this. Maybe you want to modify something. So you can just like considering the focus on chat based. Maybe let's say, I don't know, I just want to remove this. You can do it. Then next, you're going to see second question. For the sake of the experiment, I'm going to do this really quick. Next. Use this. And here, when we arrive at the third question and we answer it, we're going to see this button here that says like add more questions. So probably you feel like 3 questions are not enough and you will want to be asked more about your project. So you can go here and just generate more questions. Then we click on continue. And on this part, we just need to wait for our AI agents to analyze all the context that were given and are going to start generating pretty much everything step by step. So we're going to see here generating operations task. Once they are done with that, they probably might go to marketing, to finance. So it's just a matter of waiting for it. All right, so the agents are done here. We can see this part where we are able to analyze if the tasks that the agents gave to us are relevant. We can probably as well ask questions like, I don't know, configure ProjectFlow AI demo environment. Probably we don't know what this is about if we are here for the very first time with our first project. So we might just ask about it. So here, for example, define ideal customer profile, but the agents might say only ICP. All right. So we are trying to make it very easy for you so you as well start understanding the terms if you're not familiar with them. But if there was only the word ICP, we could just ask about it. Like, what do you mean by ICP. What is that? And we can just ask, it's going to answer for us. And if we want, let's say that A gave us in total a 22 tasks. So let's say that we would like to add additional tasks. Let's say that for this project, we would like to have a partnership, right? So add a task to find companies or projects to partner with. Partner with. As you can see here, the number of tasks changed to 23, and somewhere in here, we can see the new task, identify potential partnership opportunities. So that's cool, but let's move ahead. So we can see here already filtered task by operations, marketing, and finance. We are going to be able to see as well the risk in here and the team that we might need for this project, right? Remember that you can always edit this inside of the platform or ask in here our agent to remove people or are more descriptive, I don't know, roles, or probably reduce the team to only 3 people. Pretty much anything you might like to do here, you can do it. But that's pretty much on this part. So we're just going to click on create project. Okay, so once the project is done setting up, you're going to be able to go all over our platform and discover pretty much any functionality that we have. So I'm going to explain how to create tasks and the most basic parts that you can click on what to do and what not to do in here. So let's go first to see how the task view looks like. So we have in here task, we have a table view, we have of course filters for pretty much anything that might be useful here. We have a Gantt view as well. We have Kanban if you're a pretty big fan. I'm a big fan of Kanban, so say that you just like to move tasks around like this, so it's gonna work. The Gantt, it's really useful when you have when you want to have a very visual understanding of the timeline of your project and of how the development of this task is going across time. So I'm a big fan of this one as well. I'm not a big fan of the table, to be honest, but it's useful for many people. Probably it's easier to organize when you want to get a snapshot of what the roles, for example, for founder, or let's say that we want to see what the marketing specialist is supposed to do. Right, there is no one. Laptop, computer, well, I don't think the laptop is going to have any task. Oh, right. So it says like founder CEO plays multiple roles initially. All right. That's really cool, actually, because that's true. All right. So if you want to add a task, we have 2 options. Well, pretty much 3 options. You can add the task manually. Let me just move this one here. You can add the task manually. So let's say that, wait, we already did the find partnership. So let's say that we want to find an assistant. Find an assistant. We can say that this is a very critical task, status to do. Assign is, of course, the CEO is going to do this. And we want to start today. And let's say that our deadline for this is going to be next week, Friday. So we're going to go with add task. And our task, let me check where is it. Find an assistant is going to be here. This is one of the options. The second option that you have is, let's say that really deep into your project, you already solve all these tasks, all right, supposedly, or you already have a different project inside of this. So let's say that you want to start a marketing campaign or something similar. So you just go here into AI Wizard and you're going to ask, like, describe the task you need. So you can describe here, but let's say that to make it easier, you can just say like product launch, all right? So we have like some pretty fine options. Then you have options here as well of uploading files. If you want to focus on a very specific product, let's say that we also have integration with Telegram, Slack, WhatsApp, Teams. So this is a product part of this whole ecosystem into ProjectFlow. So let's say that we want to launch this. We can upload any documents that we have, let's say technical task, how this works, the ideas, maybe scripts from our conversations or something similar. We can do that here. We can also decide if we want to give context from our project into this part. So if you don't want to give context about the overall project that we have in here already built, you cannot do it. But if you want, which I recommend to do, is going to be really helpful, you can do it. You can continue. As before, our AI agents are going to analyze the full scope of the project and then suggest task. So we have the same helper in this part, so you can as well ask about it if you don't understand something or you want to add more tasks, whatever. You can just go here. If you don't like anything, you can just regenerate and that's it. But I would suggest if you don't like anything, first talk with the assistant in this part. It would be more helpful than just clicking regenerate without any previous context of what you didn't like. So to see that, all cool here is go to continue. This is like already the last step of verification. Like, are you sure that this is the task you want? So if these are the tasks you want, we just go into create task, and they're just going to be basically added to our whole project. The other option that I want to see here, that I want to show after this one, right? All of our tasks are added here. So the third option that I want to show already is our agent. So pretty much this is our assistant. So when I said like find an assistant, I can just actually mark it as done because we have one in here. So we can, what we can do here actually, we can ask to generate task, we can ask to generate risk, we can ask to analyze our project, we can ask for reports. So there are like, of course, some predefined parts here. So let's say that what's next? Like we already solved all of the tasks that initially the agent gave to us, for instance. We don't know what to do next. So we can just either click on what's next. Our agents are going to analyze the full scope of the project and the context we gave even at the beginning, and it's going to analyze here. So find an assistant. An assistant. That's hilarious, but it suggests that this is really important because it's a critical task. Prepare deployment environment, conduct final Q&A and regression testing, test have a simple expense tracking system. This is as well really important when you're starting a project. So that's pretty much everything. This is gonna give you like a couple of questions, like what you will like to ask later on. But you can, of course, just ask something else, like for what do I need an assistant? For what do I need an assistant when I have you? I see. It's interesting what it's going to answer. All right. So it is giving us a very, very honest answer. So that's good. But that's pretty much how it works. So you can as well ask to add a task. It's going to ask you for a couple of questions. Okay, then help me to add a task to help. Oh, sorry. Okay, then help me to the task to find where I can find an assistant, That's even harder, to be honest. So it's going to ask who. So, of course, to the CEO, when, let's say that this week, and which model. So this is operations. I'm going to explain later like what the agent means, like which model, because we have our platform is split into 3 different models. So we have operations, we have marketing, and we have finance. All right. So let me check the priority critical and the model to operations. So we'll see if it's here. Critical. Okay, yes. Research platforms for finding an assistant. It's in here. So we have these 3 options to add task. And something that I want to show as well that is really important in our platform is reports. So we'll see that at the first time when you start on our platform, might be a little bit overwhelming if you see this bunch of tasks that you don't have the experience. So we made this especially for you, so you're gonna receive some sort of help or better understanding on what the project is about, what the agent suggested, what they suggested, what those things are important. So you can go through the whole document on your own. You can download this. You can just read the summary that is given it to us. You can also upload files, so any type of files you can upload in here and keep it like as your vault. And this part, recommendations, are really, really important. So let's say that already deep into the project, once you finish all your tasks, or let's say that you're stuck with a project, you can just click here, new recommendation. All right, with marketing, let's do a better example with marketing. So let's say that everything in your project is going really well, except for marketing. Or else the marketing is going really bad. You want suggestions about what to do. So probably right now, our agents are going to say like, well, start with the task of marketing, but let's see what they're going to say. All right, so it gave us 3 recommendations. So prioritize marketing budget, develop targeted marketing campaigns, and create and schedule initial marketing posts to establish online presence. So that's really good. And we can just open it here, see a little bit more of in depth of what the task is about and why this matters, and what the expected outcome out of this. So one last thing I want to show is our chat analysis and the connection with Telegram. So currently you can just go here and connect your Telegram chat. It's really easy. You just need 2 things. To add our Telegram bot to your group chat, you can copy in here, or you can open the link to make sure that you're adding the right bot to your group chat. You can give it a name. Let's write down test. As soon as you add our bot to your Telegram group chat, you're gonna be sent a number that usually looks like this. But of course, numbers are different. And you can just add and you can just give us that number and put it in here. We're gonna start analyzing basically your conversations on a daily basis. So let's say that if your project is already not only the CEO, like the example that we have right now, but let's say that is 5 people or even 2 or more, it's gonna be really helpful. In this case, we only have 1 project that is acquire clients. That's pretty much everything. So let's say that if someone in our group chat, some of our teammates says like, hey, we're having troubles with marketing. We need to find ASAP a content maker. All right. So then that task is going to be automatically suggested by the end of the day. I'm going to show you that later on. By the end of the day, and it's going to be shown to you as suggestion. So you can add that task to the platform. Let's say that, still in a scenario, let's say that you already have a task assigned to the platform, like find an assistant. Someone in your group chat or the CEO says like, hey, I found an assistant, finally. Thanks God. All right. So that task is going to be not added, but updated. So we're going to as well show that. And we're going to very, very easy show to you which tasks are new ones, which tasks are going to be updated. So you can keep track of what's new, what's going to be updated, and say to our agents, yes, this is cool, or no, don't do that. Yeah, you just connect it. This is the part I was talking about related to the schedule. So you're going to be able to as well manage the time and the frequency in which you receive the suggestions. Take in mind that these suggestions are not only for the task, but also every day by this time, let's say that it's 9 a.m. UTC, you're going to be able to receive a summary to the chat. So let's say that pretty much most of the time, there are a lot of messages going on into Teams, all right? And the issue is that it's really hard to go and scroll through every single message to get a little bit of context of what happened that day. So to make it simpler, we just send a summary of everything what happened or the most important things. And we're going to send it at the time you decide. So we can send daily, weekly, monthly basis. So let's say that if you want it daily, I would like personally to receive this on a daily basis. So we're going to click here like 9 a.m. So that we want it earlier. If you wake up early like I do, I probably would say like 6 a.m. By 6 a.m. Yeah, that's perfect. That's pretty much everything. So save settings, that's it. Once you're gonna start receiving the messages, it's gonna be start showing in here. But remember that they're gonna be only be shown not as the task is mentioned into the group chat, but by the end of the time or by this time. So it's like 6 a.m. UTC. So by 6 a.m. UTC, you're gonna receive first a message with the summary and with a link so you can verify the notifications in here. Yes, that's pretty much everything. Wish you luck.